What is going on? We're gonna try and fix this. So today is Monday, and this weekend I had a few games against some Necrons. We were playing 1,000-point games, which I think is the best way to learn a new army. I have two friends. One that mostly plays orcs, and he has a large Necron army, so he's playing them now with the new book, and he's trying to, figure out all his little tricks of the trade. And another buddy who's been playing mostly Death Guard, and now he's working on his Necrons. And we had some really good battles. I've been practicing with my Graia, Adeptus Mechanicus. Graia prevails. And the first game was a really good learning experience that I'm going to share with you. I think you guys will maybe, it might help some new players, or maybe help you forget something, or help you remember something you forgot. So in the first game, 1,000-point game, we were playing on a 6x4 table, which was probably a little bigger than necessary, but I spread out all my units. I did almost all infantry, 3 chickens with auto cannons, and a little baby armiger, knight armiger. And he had like destroyers, wraiths, no wraiths. He had destroyers, lich guard, immortals, I think like a doomsday arc, something with a big cannon on it. And his dice rolls were very good. So I went first. He went first, and he killed my knight in one shot. I paid point, command point to give it a 4-up invuln. I paid a command point to reroll one of its saves. It still died in one shot. I think it took 3d6 wounds or something from the Doomsday Arc. I believe it's called the Doomsday Arc. It's made with the Ghost Art kit, but it has the big cannon on it. So I failed all my saves, so that was the bad start. So then on my turn, I shot it with my chicken walkers, thinking, okay, it has quantum shielding. These are strength 7. I'm wounding on 3s. They do 2 damage each. So 12 auto cannon shots into it. I put 2 wounds on it. Nothing got through. So now I'm really on the back foot. I shot some stuff. I kept trying to pick off his character with my 3 arquebuses, but the Lich Guard, or whatever they're called, kept kind of lookouts are jumping in the way. And then when they would go through, they would just roll 1s on damage. I wouldn't even put down a full Lich Guard, so they did nothing. And as the game progressed, I had to switch focus. I knew I wasn't going to kill the vehicle, but if I could kill everything else, I still had a chance. And as we're pushing, the fight to the middle of the table, I'm doing a lot of damage. His saves are just incredible. I'm I'll kill a 10-man unit to 9, even though I did 7 wounds to the last 2 guys, right? With arc rifles. And he'll save them all, and then there's just be one guy left. I'll have nothing left to shoot it or whatever. And then his turn comes, and 8 get back up. 8 5+. So it was impossible basically at this point. At the end of the game, I only killed 5 immortals. I killed 1 unit of 5 guys, and we played to last man standing. Just because it's kind of fun. At 1,000 points, you just play it all the way out to the very end. But a really good reminder was, I really was pretty foolish. What the Necrons teach you is that you have to focus one thing down until it's either crippled or removed from the board. And that's true for any army, and not just against tanks and stuff, but if you have a big squad, you wouldn't want to leave just the special weapons still running around, right? You would want to finish that off. And I kind of didn't do that against the first game with the Necrons. I spread out my firepower too much, and you learn quickly Like, I even knew going in that's not a good idea against the Necrons, but it's also not a good idea against anybody. Because if you're playing against Imperial Guard, and you have 10 las cannons, and you shoot 2 at 5 different Leman Russes, you're setting yourself up for getting blown apart. But if you just put them all onto the same Leman Russ over and over and over until it's dead, and then move on to another one, assuming it's in line of sight, of course, you're going to have a much better time, and it's a much better strategy. Because if you have 5 things and they have 5 things, instead of attacking like this, in a perfect lining up thing, you want to group up and kill one, maybe half of something, right? So now they have 3 to 5, their turn. If they split, that's over. If they don't, maybe they can help those 3 kill him, these 4 kill him, maybe him, right? Now you're going to be up, if that makes sense. If you guys just do this and line up perfectly, you know, your 5 are attacking his 5, 1 on him, 1 on him, 1 on him, 1 on him. All you're doing is putting wounds on each other's, and you're just going to find out later, you know, who rolled better or whatever, which weapons were better equipped for what they were shooting at. So it's definitely important to focus, especially something like a Leman Russ, for sure a Necron unit. Any of their units that can stand up is worth focusing. Yeah, you can drop something down. If you're an army that has like a built-in -1 to hit, making something hit on a 5 or a 6 naturally, and then you're a -1 to hit, so they hit on 6s or 7s. Okay, maybe you can ignore it for one more turn. But I still think it's worth finishing off, because a lot of armies have like a stratagem where they can shoot vehicles at full ballistic skill. And I say a lot of armies have that, but I'm not sure if a lot do. But I know the Adeptus Mechanicus do. And I think the Imperial Guard do too. I'll have to double check that. So it's just something I learned. The second game, I played the same list. It's basically 2 10-man Vanguard squads with 3 arc rifles and arc pistols on the captain. A tech priest, an engine seer, 3 chickens with autocannons, 3 5-man squads with rangers with the trans-arquebus, just 1 in each squad, and the mini knight. And this one was a bloodbath. When we played it, we battled it out to just, I don't know, I think there was like 4 Adeptus Mechanicus guys left on the board. Like we fought it to the very end, and it kind of came down to he couldn't kill my vehicles faster than I could repair them, and my mini knight had killed 2 of his characters, so he didn't really have a lot of that bonuses. But once again, the quantum shielding, this time on the Annihilation Barge, I think it's called, the other version of the command barge. It took like 20 wounds or something to kill, because when you're shooting like that thermal cannon and melta guns and stuff at it, you know, like you roll a 6 and it's just likely they shrug it off. So it was interesting. That one I didn't switch fire, and I went all in on killing the vehicle, while the other half of the board was just picking on 1 unit. Basically, I'm trying to get like 1 unit at a time. I kind of ignored the warriors until I killed the characters in the vehicle, some immortals, and then I moved on from there. So that one was really fun. If you're playing against Necrons or anybody, I suggest that strategy-wise, it's better to attack 1 thing until it's removed. If it's like a 10-man iGuard squad, sure, you don't, you know, whatever, 2 are left alive, that's fine. But if those 2 are a heavy weapon team, hold the las cannon, finish them off. Like, put a couple extra heavy stubbers or whatever extra small arm fire you have into them until they go away, because you don't want just that opportunity for that 1 random melta-gun guy running around to make a big play and put 6 wounds on your character that you didn't think he was, you know, gonna end up being the closest target for, or whatever. And I don't have playing against the Necrons twice now. It was cool. They're fun. It's surprising how small their army is. If they take wraiths and destroyers, they have like no models on the table. So definitely just kill the destroyers first. Like, they're not that hard to kill. I play Adeptus Mechanicus, I have destroyers and breachers. They're not that hard to kill. So just bring those down. It's interesting that with armies like the Dark Eldar and Necrons now being more popular, autocannons are kind of getting more interesting in the game because they're strength 7. They wound almost all their vehicles on 3s. They're only -1 to save, so that's not the best, but a flat 2 damage, so it's reliable. They get a lot of extra shots, usually. So it's just something to think about. Against quantum shielding, it's a pretty solid weapon, especially if you have a lot of them. I was running 12 autocannon shots, so that was cool. I think both players played the AP Necrons, the +1 AP. Not 100% sure if there's a better choice than that. You could maybe build around some of the other ones, and I haven't looked at the stratagems, unique stratagems based on your dynasty or your warlord traits or your items. But the -1 AP makes like a unit of warriors when they get close, like pretty nice. You know, they could be like hitting on 2s, wounding on 5s, rerolling 1s, potentially doing AP2 to like vehicles. It's pretty powerful. They were killing some, I only had light in their vehicles. Then they eventually brought down the Mini Knight. So that was interesting. I thought he was pretty invincible after I killed the vehicle, but no, they still managed to bring him down. The guy that actually killed him was the Lord with the big scythe. Because once again, they think Imperial Knights shouldn't have a invulnerable save in hand-to-hand combat. Like, they don't give them they give them a 5-up invuln, which isn't great. And then they don't even get it in hand-to-hand combat. So their save is actually worse than a pink horror, or even like a Dune Crawler. Or in hand-to-hand combat, the Knight save against a heavy-hitting weapon is worse than a basic AdMech infantry guy, because he has a 6-up invul. So hopefully the Codex maybe rethinks how that works. Maybe make them, if they're going to be so vulnerable to big heavy hitters like a Magnus or something, maybe make them even more resilient to being shot. I'm not sure on that. I don't know how the numbers work out, and I'm not sure if they have like a way they test the numbers, or if they just kind of come up with something and play test it until they kind of work it out. So I'm not sure on that. Anyway, that is some tips on dealing with Necrons or just dealing with anybody. My first 2 experiences playing against the Necrons with Graia. The Graia saves, they're hilarious when they happen. Like when you just roll 6 and your guy doesn't die. It hasn't happened for any of my vehicles yet, so that'll be fun when that happens. But it's pretty awesome. Like you overcharge a plasma gun, your guy dies, and then he just rolls the old 6 and stays there and lives to overcharge it again. Super fun. I like it a lot. Definitely suggest getting outside of your call reroll bubble. I think you'll have a lot more fun with your AdMech. If you're just playing against like one buddy every week, and if your call reroll bubble kills them every time, and you think that's fun, maybe stick to it, I guess. But if you play in an environment like a popular game store where there's a lot of players to play with, and you have been doing it a long enough time that you've made a lot of different friends who have a lot of different armies, maybe you'll be the one on the internet worried that so-and-so's overpowered or this or that, but in reality you've just been playing the same army over and over again, and they maybe haven't, and they've changed what they're running. Because it's predictable, right? If you're going to stand still and re-roll everything, it's predictable. And there are counters to that, So just something to think about. My thing is I've been playing Graia. It's cool. It gives me some psychic defense, which meant nothing against the Necrons, but whatever. The 6-up refusal to die is fun. This item is a +1 command point, so that's always good. And it actually has worked a couple times that the Warlord trait lets you just shoot in hand-to-hand combat with your units when they're in hand-to-hand. So with those units with like 3 arc rifles and an arc pistol and a couple of the Vanguard little machine guns, all of a sudden you're like, okay, my turn. Here's 7 strength 6 AP1 shots in hand-to-hand combat. And they're -1. I have to double check if it's all the time, but you're -1 toughness when you're within 1 inch of them. So them shooting strength 3 guns at Space Marines are wounding on 4s while they're in combat. So that's kind of cool. Wounding on 2s with the arc weapons in AP1. So, and the arc weapons, like, you're fooling yourself if you don't think those are, like, the best. Everybody's like, you need the Trans Arquebus on the Rangers and plasma guns on the Vanguard, and that's just what it is. And that's just not true at all. Like, I've been playing now the AdMech since the beginning of 8th edition, all the way from Index to Codex, Phoenix to Adepticon, all over Phoenix. Not all over Phoenix, but a lot of games in Phoenix. Possibly playing them at the Scorched Earth Open, which is going to be a big major tournament here in Phoenix. I'm not too big on tournaments, but I do like trying to compete in like a best painted or best appearance or whatever. I do think that's pretty enjoyable. And playing the games is fun. Even if you lose, like if you go in wanting to win so bad, you'll end up like some of those people that just rage quit, after the first round. Like, and then what's the point, right? Just a big waste of money because you got emotional and you wanted to win so bad. You wanted to win more than you wanted to go have fun, right? It's like going to like a movie and you want it to be exactly how you think it should be instead of going to a movie to enjoy the movie. Not saying you can't have opinions, of course. Sometimes emotions might get the best of you. But definitely for the Adeptus Mechanicus, don't think you gotta just play Call because everybody on the Facebook group that's not any good tells you have to play Call. I'm telling you, there's a lot of different ways. And if you don't like the arc rifle, send them all to me. Give me all your extra arc rifles. I know you guys all have tons of Rangers and Vanguard with plasma guns and Trans Arquebuses. And if you just put them in a little envelope and send them my way, I will gladly make as many little guys holding arc rifles as I can. That's 4 points. So it's 12 points to put 3 strength 6 -1 AP guns in your unit. 12 points that do D3 damage against vehicles. It's crazy. So they're good against elite infantry because they're good against everything. They have AP1. They're pretty good. They're 24 inch, so they can shoot twice within 12. And then with the pistol, I think the pistol's like 2 points. So you're looking at 14 points at 12 inches, 7 strength 6 AP1 shots for 14 points. 7 strength 6 AP1 shots against a vehicle, all D3 damage. Against like a Raider or a Viper or a Venom or a Harlequin vehicle whenever they come out. Or even just like you never rolled a 5+ to wound, of course you have. They are awesome. Take your arc rifles. That's another tip, pro tip from a guy on YouTube. And that's about all I got for you. I've been working on my Vostroyan plasma gunners. I'm the mommy. And hopefully we'll get them out. Really liking the Scions, painting them super cool. They look so awesome. Not sure I'm really loving the Vostroyans. They are cool looking. Like, I like the models and the tanks and stuff are cool. Been working on, but man, these metal models, like the amount of effort I'm putting in to try and make them not chip before I play with them is like insane. So after I finish all these and varnish them all, the other ones I'm just going to prime and start playing with them just so I can get some games in with them, and then I'll go back and re-prime them because for sure they'll chip, and then I'll start painting them. Because I think after I do this big blob, it's like 40 iGuard guys, a whole bunch of tanks, I might finish a Thousand Suns unit or two just to keep bouncing back and forth. I also had like some Tyranids I was playing with. Right now I'm stripping an old metal RMN and a Carnifex, so I got options. Really excited to start weathering tanks. And that's about all I got. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have an in-depth look at my life. Also subscribe. We're like 5 subscribers away. from 100, which is awesome. And then we'll be giving away Finecast Abaddon, so your cultists won't run away. You might rage quit the tournament. You'll rage quit the tournament game before your cultists run away, because they will be immune to morale standing next to Abaddon. Pretty cool. I'll send them anywhere in the world. We'll figure out, we'll probably put up a video on the giveaway when we hit 100, and then we'll just do like one of the random comment generators or something. I'll have to look into, I know there's like websites you can go to that'll pull up a random unique commenter from a video post, so that'll be cool. And then, I'll cover the shipping, you get the model for free, and that's it. And then we'll work on the next giveaway. We'll have to pick what that is. Not 100% sure what I want to do yet. I got a lot of extra stuff. I do sell stuff on eBay too. Future plans, I'm thinking about doing a Patreon as kind of starting out as just like a virtual tip jar. By no means do I think you should give me any money. Like, unless you really want to. Because at the beginning I won't be able to offer anything very unique. I film these on my phone. I don't even edit them. So, but we might put that up, because even if I just got $1 every month, that's $12. That's 3 pots of paint a year for free. That's pretty cool. So we might be doing that. Also, I was thinking, I might put this in another video, but if you stayed around this long, I was thinking on getting like a P.O. box when we get a lot more subscribers, and then like people could send me bits, like, or extra models, or sprues of things they're not going to use, or that sort of thing. Maybe models they don't use anymore, or paint job models, bottles of bad paint jobs they don't like, and maybe they don't want to sell them on eBay. Or maybe, I don't know, like a pay it forward kind of thing, or like a miniatures, I guess raffle. I don't know. We could like collectively. This is probably later. We're 22 minutes in, so it's just kind of a freestyle off the mind. But collectively, like, gather a bunch of stuff, fill up a little box, give it away, and then maybe like somebody new to the hobby or something would appreciate like getting some cool bits and some out of print Space Marines or whatever extra stuff you got lying around. We'll have to gauge interest on that later. I don't think we'll have enough subscribers in the next month or so we can think about that later. But it could be something cool just to get, if you're like been in the hobby for a while, or you're like me and you buy a lot of stuff, your bits boxes are like overflowing. You have, like, I can reach pretty much anywhere in my room and just pull up, like, here is the Redemptionist Lord guy with the flamethrower in the book. I always use him as like a psyker. He probably will be a Vestroyan Astropath. But, like, let's reach over here. Here's a KDN with the flamethrower, right? So if you're like me and you got a hobby room, you probably got a lot of extra stuff just floating around the hobby room. We can just reach up here, and then we got an Inquisitor. Right? Things that I've never played with. Sometimes I put paint on them for fun. So I'm sure I have extras. You might or might not. Maybe you're more somebody interested in hopefully winning something like that, or giveaway. But it would be cool. It would be cool to just gather a bunch of neat stuff to like go through and redistribute, like Robin Hood. I don't know, whatever. That's all we got for right now. I'll talk to you tomorrow, hopefully. I don't know if it's it might be after midnight when you watch this, but that's 1 year since I quit smoking, so that's pretty cool. So that's probably what the video will be about tomorrow. So please subscribe, stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed it. Kill the Necrons or buy the Necrons, they're pretty cool.